Hi there guys, Bovine Hamster here. It's been a while. Been testing out a lot of various different decks, looking to rank myself up on ELO. And one of the decks that I've come across, or I say I come across, I've built myself, is a Howitzer deck. Okay, this Howitzer deck, before I created this current deck, I was at about 40% win rate with Howitzer. Since creating this deck and focusing on several key strategies within my game, I have taken it up to over a 70% win rate. Currently sitting at a very high win rate there. So if we come over, we take a look at the decks. We're going to go through this one. Howitzer version 1.1. Currently sitting at a 74% win rate with this hero. Okay. So this is a deck where you're going to be focusing mainly on casting and doing a shed ton of burst damage. Your goal as a Howitzer, okay, is to zone your opponents. Now a lot of people, what they try and do with Howitzer's ultimate is they try to place it on top of people. This, for me, I find a mistake. Unless they're clumped into a big group, maybe you're fighting in the jungle, using your ultimate to kill people, I find very, very difficult. So instead what I do is I use it as a zoning tool. Okay, so if I give you a scenario, you are being assaulted by the enemy team. Their ADCs are at the back, being protected by the tanks at the front, and the tanks are attacking you, or their melee heroes. Okay, what I would then do as a Howitzer is I would place my ultimate not on the tanks, not on the ADCs, but actually in between them. So what this actually does is it separates the team so that you end up with the ADCs at the back and the tanks at the front. Now, if your team has a lot of shred, then you can just obliterate the tanks, and then whatever's left, you clear up afterwards, okay? And this is how I play Howitzer, okay? If I see an engagement and I see some melee that have overextended, but the ADCs are trying to catch up in order to finish off an opponent, again, what I will do is I'll put the ultimate in a position where the ADCs will have to go through it in order to get to the target that they want. This prevents the ADCs from getting to your heroes, and this is how I win. This is how I win the games. Okay, so, but I'll go through this deck. So we start off with 4 1-cast cards here. Okay, I always carry a harvester key. The amount of solo pubs that I've been in where people just don't collect harvesters is insane. Okay, the main priority of a jungler is to get the 2 jungle ones, the priority of the laners is to get the outside lane ones, and then the one in the middle is generally got by the support. This never happens in pubs, guys, okay? And one of the key things is, if you want to win, if you want to get ahead on card points, you have to have those harvesters. So make sure in every build you've got a harvester key, okay? So that's just in there in case. But what I start off with is I start off with a health potion and a mana potion and a cast token, okay? And all I do I go to the mid lane and I focus on last hitting. That is it. My goal is not to push. I don't auto attack, okay? In fact, it's really, really good if I find an opponent that auto attacks, because it pushes the lane close towards my tower, makes them overextend, and then my team can then gank whoever's in the middle, okay? So I sit in the middle and I will farm my first 6 card points. I will refuse to go back to base until I have my first 6 card points. And this is vital, okay? What I see a lot of people doing is they get 3 card points and then go back straight away. This is unacceptable to myself, because this, you don't get anything for that. You get a little bit of damage, a little bit of small upgrade, but the 6 points is where you can get a power spike over the other mid hero. Because what I do is I pack 2 6-point cards. Okay, I've got my Staff of Adamant here, and I got my Whirling Wand. Now, depending on what I feel is happening in the mid, depends on what I pick. If I feel that I want a little bit more attack speed so that I can get those last hits a little bit quicker with a little bit of power, then I go for this Whirling Wand here. Okay, gives you that extra 13 energy damage. Okay, the extra 11 attack speed once fully upgraded, and it's got an extra 16.5 attack speed on there. Okay, so it gives you a little bit better chance of last hitting. Okay, this is my least favorite first upgrade. This one over here, this is my favorite, the Staff of Adamant with 3 lesser heals in. Okay, this gives you 400 extra health. Now at an earlier level, this is almost doubling your health. This really helps stop you from getting ganked. Okay, now what your goal is in the middle is to make sure that you're getting last hits, that you are supporting your teammates, and that you are not dying. Okay, mid is one of the hardest lanes to not get ganked on, due to the fact that you can get ganked from both sides. So this would be my first 6-point item here. As you can see, you get 19.5 extra damage, which is going to help with your last hits anyway, and you get that extra 400 health. After that, I go and get my next 6 points, and when I go back for my next 6 points, then what I do is I get rid of my Staff of Adamant, and I replace it with a Lord's Ward here, so I lose the 19.5 damage. Okay, and I put 1 greater health in there, so I'm retaining my 400 health. Gives me a little bit of extra mana so I can cast, and a little bit of cooldown. Now Howitzer doesn't really need that much cooldown because of the amount of burst that he does. Okay, so you then get rid of your Staff of Adamant, place your 6 points in here. Your second 6 points you start putting in Meltdown. Now these cards are really good. 13 points straight away of damage, fantastic, with 16 energy penetration. Now every hero has a base set of energy defense. What this actually helps you do is to strip that defense away. Okay, you then put a major cast in there as well, so it's an extra 19.5 damage. Go back to your lane, farm some more, and then you get yourself your next 6 points. You finish off your first Meltdown here, okay, giving you your extra 6.5 energy damage once it's fully upgraded. You then move into your second Meltdown here. Okay, this then gives you 32 energy penetration. Now 32 energy penetration is enough to go through most people's base energy armor. Okay, so all those ADCs that are sitting at the back, okay, that go full damage because they expect their tanks to defend them, okay, you're just going to burst through all their defenses. So you're going to hit with raw damage on these guys. Okay, you then want to fully upgrade this, and then I start looking at getting some more mana. So if I feel like I'm in trouble, I might get myself a little bit more health in my Lord's Ward. If I feel like I'm doing okay, I'm doing really well with my defensive maneuvers, I'm killing people, then I will move straight into my Amp Crystal. Okay, now my Amp Crystal here, once you've fully upgraded, that's 225 mana, an extra 225 mana. Fully upgrade these with a major cast, a cast, and a minor cast there. And then once you've got this one built, I move on to a Wellspring Staff here. Okay, a little bit of extra mana for you, so in total you get yourself an extra 300 mana if you include the last card. Fill this up, get a little bit extra mana because I don't have any more minor casts on here. If I had a minor cast, then I would remove this and use the minor cast here. So when I get a minor cast, you will see this change because I would like the extra damage there. Okay, so this Raw Spring Staff, major cast, and that should be a minor cast in total. Now notice that these are all 9 costs, which allows me to have 2 12 cost cards. My 12 cost cards are my Lord's Ward. I don't have any defenses on here, just health. Now once this is fully upgraded, you've got 1,000 extra health. you end up with about 2,500 health. This is more than enough for you to survive a fight, to make sure that you can take your enemies down. Okay. Once this is fully upgraded, I then move on to the last item, the Hate Spitter here. Now, late game, you tend to find that a lot of people are starting to build armor. So what I've got here is I got myself a Hate Spitter. Once fully upgraded, gives me 5% cooldown reduction, allowing me to churn out my ultimate a little bit more. 16 armor penetration, in addition to another 64 armor penetration. I end up with about 112 armor penetration, which is enough to go through most armor of non-tanks. Okay, if you're dealing with tanks, then you should have someone on your team that has a shred. If you don't have a shred, ignore the tanks. Okay, if the tanks have loads and loads of armor, they aren't doing damage, so you don't have to worry about them. Okay, and then I've got an extra 15% cooldown reduction with these two fierce chronos in here. Okay, give me a grand total of 22.5% because of the Lord's Ward cooldown reduction. This allows you to spam your ultimate out. Now, one of the great things about Howitzer is just his zoning ability. If you've ever had a game where there is a horrible slow siege, where you're standing in front of their towers, you're trying to trade blows, but nothing is happening, Howitzer stops that dead. Because all you do is, as soon as your creeps start going towards the tower, you drop your ultimate, the whole of your team can run in under that ultimate. And the enemy have two choices. They can stay there and die. They will die. Your ultimate does over 1200 damage. Okay, that's not 1200 damage overall, that's 1200 damage to every person that's in there. Yeah, 600 in AoE over the course of 5 seconds, and then a further 600 if they're in there with the final explosion. They are going to blow up. Or they can run away and let their tower go. And this is the idea that I use for Howitzer. This is the deck that I use. I currently at 74% win rate with this, and it is still climbing. It's managed to get me over 200 ELO in the last 2 to 3 days. Okay, guys. Well, I hope you enjoyed that. If you got any questions, leave a comment in the comment section below. Like, favorite, subscribe to all of the socials. You'll find me on Twitter, Bovine Hamster. You'll find me on YouTube, Bovine Hamster. You'll find me in game, Bovine Hamster. You'll find me on Facebook, Bovine Hamster. All the things bovine and hamstery is good. And I'll see you later, guys. Take care.